It was a hot summer day. A child, innocent, trusting, reached up and accepted a cone from a smiling employee behind the counter. She doesn't ask questions. She never does. The swirl was perfect. The dip, flawless. But here's what nobody told her, what no one tells any of us. That soft serve wasn't ice cream. It never was. And the ingredients inside? Most of them she couldn't even pronounce. This is the story of Dairy Queen's iced milk. Today, we're taking a look at the Dairy Queen soft serve cone. It has 12 ingredients, and here's something wild to start. This technically is not ice cream. By FDA standards, ice cream needs at least 10% butterfat. Dairy Queen soft serve clocks in at around 5%, which legally makes it closer to iced milk. So, right out of the gate, the cone you grew up thinking was ice cream, it isn't. Milk fat. This is the fat component sourced from cow's milk, and it's about as straightforward as dairy gets in a processed product. It's not a whole food, but it's a single, recognizable ingredient that you'd find in real dairy products at home. Milk fat has been associated with raised LDL cholesterol at high quantities, but recent research has actually softened the stance on full-fat dairy significantly. In the small amounts present here, it's not a major concern, so we're going to put this in A tier. Next, we have non-fat milk. Milk with just the fat removed. That's it. It's processed in the sense that it's been separated and pasteurized, but it is something you can buy at the grocery store and pour into a glass. It's a good source of calcium, protein, no red flags. We're going to put it in the A tier. Then let's go on to sugar. Here's where things start to slide. Sugar is recognizable. It's in your pantry, but the quantity matters, and in soft serve, it's the third ingredient, meaning there's a lot of it. Excess sugar consumption is linked to obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and inflammation. It's not a mystery chemical, but it's definitely not doing you any favors. So we're going to put sugar in B tier. Corn syrup. Not to be confused with its more infamous cousin, corn syrup is a sweetener made from cornstarch. It's less processed than high fructose corn syrup, but it's still a refined sugar product that spikes blood glucose and adds empty calories. It's linked to the same general metabolic concerns as sugar, just a step further away from your kitchen. We're going to put corn syrup in the C tier. Whey. Whey is a natural byproduct of cheese production and is one of the most well-studied proteins in nutrition. It supports muscle recovery, contains essential amino acids, and is used in everything from protein powder to baked goods. It's processed, but absolutely recognizable and broadly considered beneficial. We're going to put this in the A tier. Monoglycerides. Now, we're getting into the emulsifier territory. Monoglycerides are fats used to blend ingredients that wouldn't otherwise mix, like oil and water. They're derived from natural fats, but are industrially processed. The concern here is they can contain small amounts of trans fats, which are linked to cardiovascular disease. And unlike added trans fats, they don't always have to be disclosed on nutrition labels. That loophole is worth raising an eyebrow at. Monoglycerides are going in the C tier. Then we have diglycerides. Same family, same conversation as monoglycerides. Another emulsifier, same trans fat concerns, same labeling gray area. These two travel together in processed foods. Diglycerides go in the C tier. Next, we have artificial flavor. This is a deliberately vague catch-all term. Artificial flavor can legally represent hundreds of different chemical compounds, and manufacturers are not required to disclose which ones. Some are benign, some may have been linked to allergenic reactions or behavioral concerns, particularly in children. The problem isn't necessarily what's in here, it's what we generally don't know. Lack of transparency in food labeling gets a D tier for me. Now we have guar gum. Guar gum is a natural thickener derived from guar beans, and it actually has some legitimately positive properties. It can help with blood sugar regulation and digestive health. In large quantities, it has been associated with GI discomfort, and the FDA has previously flagged very high-dose guar gum products. In the small amounts used here as a stabilizer, it's relatively benign. For that, guar gum goes in the B tier. Polysorbate 80. Here's one worth paying attention to. Polysorbate 80 is a synthetic emulsifier, and while it's generally recognized as safe in the US, studies, including some on mice, have linked it to disruption of gut microbiome, low-grade inflammation, and potential links to metabolic syndrome. It's not banned outright in other countries, but has faced scrutiny in European food research. That's enough to land polysorbate 80 in the D tier. Carrageenan is derived from red seaweed, which sounds natural, and it is, but it has one of the more controversial safety profiles in food additives. Research has linked degraded carrageenan to intestinal inflammation and colon damage in animal studies, and some researchers argue that food-grade carrageenan degrades in the digestive tract. It was nearly removed from the USDA's organic approved list. We're going to put carrageenan in the D tier. Finally, we have vitamin A palmitate. This is a synthetic form of vitamin A added to compensate for nutrients lost during processing, common in reduced fat dairy products. In normal dietary amounts, it is fine and even beneficial. However, at very high supplemental doses, vitamin A palmitate has been associated with toxicity. In the trace amounts added here, it's not a concern. We're putting vitamin A palmitate in the B tier. And that's all 12 ingredients in the Dairy Queen soft serve. I want to know in the comments, was that more than you expected or maybe less? We'll see what people think, and I'll catch you next time.